It happened at a family reunion, of all places. The kind of gathering where the air smells like barbecued ribs, kids run around with sticky hands, and everyone pretends that family values are the glue that holds everything together. I was sitting there with a polite smile plastered on my face, listening to relatives I barely saw once a year, when my husband's phone lit up on the table next to me. Normally I wouldn't have cared, but the notification preview caught my eye. It wasn't from a colleague or a reminder app, it was from his assistant. Missing your touch from this morning. Can't wait to replace your boring wife. My heart slammed against my chest so hard I thought everyone in the room could hear it. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. My fingers turned cold even though it was warm outside. My husband, standing across the room with a smug grin, was preparing to give his little speech about family values and tradition. That word, values, stabbed me in the gut like a knife. He was about to talk about loyalty and love while his assistant fantasized about replacing me. At first, I wanted to scream, to hurl the phone across the room and watch his facade shatter instantly. But then, something inside me shifted. The fury melted into something sharper, calmer, more deliberate. If he wanted to play a game of appearances, I was about to show him what it felt like to lose the mask in front of everyone he cared about. When he climbed the small stage to speak, I slipped his phone into my hands. My movements were mechanical, almost practiced, though my heart was hammering so fast it hurt. My fingers scrolled through the messages, just enough to confirm what I already knew. Dozens of flirtations, late-night confessions, things that made my stomach turn. But the one that had just arrived was perfect. Simple. Damning. The projector behind him was connected to the same Wi-Fi network. With just a few taps, I mirrored his screen onto it. My breath caught in my throat as the image appeared larger than life, glowing across the wall behind him. He was in the middle of saying, family is about trust, loyalty, and the bonds we share, when he saw the reflection of his own phone. His words faltered, and his face drained of color. Gasps rippled through the crowd. My aunt covered her mouth. My cousin muttered, "Oh my God." My husband froze, staring at the wall where his assistant's words screamed back at him in letters so large no one could miss them. He stammered, tried to keep speaking, but his lips quivered and no sound came out. I didn't move. I didn't shout. I just sat there, legs crossed, watching him unravel. The silence stretched until it became unbearable. Finally, someone from the crowd asked, "What is this?" His eyes darted toward me, wide with panic, silently begging me to save him. But I didn't. Not this time. I let him twist under the weight of his own hypocrisy. My relatives began whispering, piecing together what they were seeing. The man who always positioned himself as the shining example of devotion had been exposed, not by me directly, but by his own arrogance and carelessness. Inside, my emotions churned like a storm, rage, heartbreak, but also a deep, satisfying sense of justice. For months I had suspected, felt the distance, the coldness in his touches, the way his eyes seemed to be elsewhere. But he had made me doubt myself, insisting I was paranoid, insecure, dramatic. He gaslit me into believing I was the problem. Now, in front of everyone, the truth burned bright and undeniable. He rushed off the stage, his phone clutched in his trembling hands, muttering something about a technical glitch. But the damage was done. Nobody was fooled. His assistant's words, "Can't wait to replace your boring wife," still hung in the air like poison. Relatives avoided his eyes. Some glared at him. Others looked at me with quiet sympathy. But I didn't need their pity. I felt powerful in a way I hadn't in years. I didn't just expose him, I freed myself from his lies. Later, when he cornered me outside, his voice was frantic. "Why would you do that? Do you have any idea what you've done to my reputation?" I looked at him, really looked at him, and for the first time, I saw him without the filter of love or hope. Just a hollow man scrambling to save face. I said quietly, "You destroyed your own reputation. I just gave everyone a front row seat." He sputtered, tried to blame stress, alcohol, anything but himself. But I didn't stay to listen. I walked away, the sound of my heels sharp against the pavement, each step feeling lighter than the last. In the weeks that followed, his world crumbled. His family distanced themselves, his work colleagues lost respect, and his assistant, well, she didn't want him anymore once his image of power and control disappeared. Meanwhile, I started building a life without him. A life where I wasn't diminished, lied to, or made to feel like I wasn't enough. Sometimes revenge doesn't need to be loud or messy. Sometimes the sweetest justice is calm, surgical, and public. He wanted to stand on a stage and preach about family values while betraying everything they stood for. And I made sure the mask slipped at the very moment he tried to wear it the tightest. Justice, karma, whatever you call it, it came that day. And I didn't even have to raise my voice. So tell me, what would you have done if you found out the truth in the middle of a family reunion? Would you have exploded in rage, or would you have waited for the perfect moment to let karma do the talking? If this story gave you chills, hit that like button, subscribe, and share your own thoughts in the comments. Because sometimes, the best revenge isn't plotted in secret, it's delivered in the plain light of day, where everyone can see the truth for themselves.